Okay, good morning. This time we're doing readings, part one of Admissions from As Bill Sees It. Michael's going to start us with page 17, Toward Honesty. Take it away, Michael.
Okay, page 17, Toward Honesty. The perverse wish to hide a bad motive underneath a good one permeates human affairs from top to bottom. This subtle and elusive kind of self-righteousness can underlie the smallest act or thought. Learning daily to spot, admit, and correct these flaws is the essence of character building and good living. The deception of others is nearly always rooted in ourselves. Somehow being alone with God doesn't seem as embarrassing as facing up to another person until we actually sit down and talk aloud about what we have so long hidden. Our willingness to clean house is still largely theoretical. When we are honest with another person, it confirms that we have been honest with ourselves and with God.
Excellent. I like the thing in the middle. The deception of others is nearly always rooted in the deception of ourselves. All righty, we're going to go to 24. Alike when the chips are down. In the beginning, it was 4 whole years before AA brought permanent sobriety to even one alcoholic woman. Like the high bottoms, the woman said they were different. AA couldn't be for them. But as the communication was perfected, most of the women themselves, the picture changed. Mostly by the women themselves. I got to read the whole sentence. But as the communication was perfected, mostly by the women themselves, the picture changed. This process of identification and transmission has gone on and on. The Skid Rower said he was different. Even more loudly, the socialite or Park Avenue stumble bum said the same. So did the artist, the professional people, the rich, the poor, the religious, the agnostic, the Indians, the Eskimos, the veterans, and the prisoners. But nowadays, all these and legions more soberly talk about how very much alike all of us alcoholics are when we admit that the chips are finally down.
Okay, and then the
You're going to do 48.
48. Okay. Live serenely. Page 48. When a drunk has a terrific hangover because he drank heavily yesterday, he cannot live well today. But there is another kind of hangover which we all experience, whether we are drinking or not. This is the emotional hangover, the direct result of yesterday's and sometimes today's excesses of negative emotion, anger, fear, jealousy, and the like. If we would live serenely today and tomorrow, we certainly need to eliminate these hangovers. This doesn't mean we need to wander morbidly around in the past. It requires an admission and correction of errors now.
Excellent. Next one is 65. Growth by the 10th step. In the years ahead, AA will, of course, make mistakes. Experience has taught us that we need have no fear of doing this, providing that we always remain willing to admit our faults and to correct them promptly. Our growth as individuals has depended upon this healthy process of trial and error. So will our growth as a fellowship. Let us remember that any society of men and women that cannot freely correct its own faults must surely fall into decay, if not into collapse. Such is the universal penalty for the failure to go on growing. Just as each AA must continue to take his moral inventory and act upon it, so must our whole society, if we are to survive and if we are to serve usefully and well. That was 65. Our next one is 83.
83. Okay. 83. We cannot live alone. All of AA's 12 steps ask us to go contrary to our natural desires. They all deflate our egos. When it comes to ego deflation, few steps are harder to take than the fifth. Scarcely any step is more necessary to long-time sobriety and peace of mind. AA experience has taught us we cannot live alone with our pressing problems and the character defects which cause or aggravate them. If step 4 is revealed in stark relief those experiences we'd rather not remember, then the need to quit living by ourselves with those tormenting ghosts of yesterday gets more urgent than ever. We have to talk to somebody about them. We cannot wholly rely on friends to solve all our difficulties. A good advisor will never do all our thinking for us. He knows that each final choice must be ours. He will therefore help to eliminate fear, expediency, and self-deception, so enabling us to make choices which are loving, wise, and honest.
Excellent, excellent. Our next reading is 88. Willpower and choice. We AAs know the futility of trying to break the drinking obsession by willpower alone. However, we do know that it takes great willingness to adopt AA's 12 steps as a way of life that can restore us to sanity. No matter how grievous the alcohol obsession, we happily find that other vital choices can still be made. For example, we can choose to admit that we are personally powerless over alcohol, that dependence upon a higher power is a necessity, even if this be simply dependence upon an AA group. Then we can choose to try for a life of honesty and humility, of selfless service to our fellows and to God as we understand Him. As we continue to make these choices and so move towards these high aspirations, our sanity returns and the compulsion to drink vanishes.
Okay, and the next one
Is 102, I hope.
We're getting close to 12.
No, we got a few more.
Okay, 102. Healing Talk, 102. When we consult an AA friend, we should not be reluctant to remind him of our need for full privacy. Intimate communication is normally so free and easy among us that an AA advisor may sometimes forget when we expect him to remain silent. The protective sanctity of this most healing of human relations ought never be violated. Such privileged communications have priceless advantages. We find them in the perfect opportunity to be as honest as we know how to be. We do not have to think of the possibility of damage to other people, nor need we fear ridicule or condemnation. Here too, we have the best possible chance of spotting self-deception.
Excellent. 111. Surveying the past. We should make an accurate and really exhaustive survey of our past life as it has affected other people. In many instances, we shall find that though the harm done to others has been great, we have nevertheless done ourselves considerable emotional injury. Then too, damaging emotional conflicts persist below the level of consciousness, very deep, sometimes quite forgotten. Therefore, we should try hard to recall and review those past events which originally induced these conflicts and which continue to give our emotions violent twists, thus discoloring our personalities and altering our lives for the worse. We react more strongly to frustrations than normal people. By By reliving these episodes and discussing them in strict confidence with somebody else, we can reduce their size and therefore their potency in the unconscious. Okay, you're 126.
Okay. Admitted to God, page 126. Provided you hold back nothing in taking the fifth step, your sense of relief will mount from minute to minute. The dammed up emotion of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. As the pain subsides, a healing tranquility takes its place. And when humility and serenity are so combined, something else of great moment is apt to occur. Many an AA, once agnostic or atheist, tells us that it was during this stage of step 5 that he first actually felt the presence of God. And even those who already have faith often become conscious of God as they never were before.
Alrighty, I'm 135.
Is that 12 then?
No, we got 3 more. 135. Convinced I never, victory in defeat. Convinced I could never belong and vowing I'd never settle for any second-rate status, I felt I simply had to dominate in everything I chose to do, work or play. As this attractive formula for the good life began to succeed according to my then specifications of success, I came deliriously happy. But when an undertaking occasionally did fail, I was filled with resentment and depression that could be cured only by the next triumph. Very early, therefore, I came to value everything in terms of victory or defeat, all or nothing. The only satisfaction I knew was to win. Only through utter defeat are we able to take our first steps towards liberation and strength. Our admission of personal powerlessness finally turned out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. Okay, you're 149. You're 149.
149. Okay, this is my last reading.
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Page 149, Guide to a Better Way. Almost none of us like the self-searching, the leveling of our pride, the confession of shortcomings which the steps require. But we saw that the program really worked in others, and we had come to believe in the hopelessness of life as we had been living it. When therefore we were approached by those in whom the problem had been solved, there was nothing left for us but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. Implicit throughout AA's traditions is the confession that our fellowship has its sins. We admit that we have character defects as a society and that these defects threaten us continually. Our traditions are a guide to better ways of working and living, and they are to group survival and harmony what AA's 12 steps are to each member's sobriety and peace of mind.
All righty, we got our last reading, 164. If I can find it in the book here. A saving principle. The practice of admitting one's defects to another person is, of course, very ancient. It has been validated in every century, and it characterizes the lives of all spiritually centered and truly religious people. But today, religion is by no means the sole advocate of the saving principle. Psychiatrists and psychologists point out the deep need every human being has for practical insight and knowledge of his own personal flaws and for discussion of them with an understanding and trustworthy person. As far as alcoholics are concerned, AA would go even further. Most of us would declare that without a fearless admission of our defects to another human being, we could not stay sober. It seems plain that the grace of God will not enter to expel our destructive obsession until we are willing to try this. All righty.
Okay.
Good.
That's the end of part one.
Yeah, that's the end of part one. We're going to throw Gray's ball for him.
All right.
Good readings.
Yes.
Happy Dog and Little Scout is here, ready for his walk.